Setting up. Here we are live on Facebook. Welcome everyone. Today I am with Karen Neaton, and she is one of the contributors to Fearless Presence, Embodying Your Essence for Soul Aligned Success. And I'm just so happy that you have decided to join this book with your incredible story. And so I'd love to hear from you, Karen. What was it that inspired you to say yes?
Okay, so what inspired me to say yes? I've been writing for a long time. I've always loved writing. I've loved poetry and things like that. I've written some stories myself, but I've never published. And so the idea of a multi-author book, something that was guided and supported and collaborative, I thought, yes, that's a really soft place to start. So this is my soft startup. This will be my first publication.
I love that. And yeah, there's a few other people who are seeing it as almost like a warm-up to before they write their solo book, or before they publish their solo book in your case, because you've already written some things. And for me, it was the same thing. Like I've got 2 full solo books out there. But when I wrote about this subject that I was writing in the multi-author books I was in last year, it was like, wow, I could just fill a whole book with this story. So even if, you know, some people listening out there feeling, oh, I don't know what I would write, and if I could even fill 3,000 words, it's so easy. It goes so quick. You have to really think about almost like what you leave out rather than what you put in, don't you?
Yes, that's true. Yep.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about the story that you are sharing and how it fits in with this title of Fearless Presence.
Yeah, well, the concept of fearless presence was something that I questioned, how does this show up in my life? So it was something I had to zoom in on and work out how that was part of my life. Because originally I didn't think it was a big story that I could tell. But there is the concept of fearless presence in my life now. So the part of my life that I'm going to focus on to tell that story is being the sister to someone who's disabled. So, and coming out of the shadows of that, so finding my own spotlight, I guess.
And because your sister needed a lot more care and attention than you did, so you were kind of just, it was assumed that you were okay.
That's correct, yeah. And it's a very common story. It's not often told. People are becoming more aware that it's a thing for the siblings to suffer when there's a special sibling in the family. So it could be a disability, it could be something amazing like being an Olympian, but there's this concept of attention going elsewhere, and then what the story that children tell themselves about why that's happening, and then how to come out of that.
Yeah, exactly. The story that we tell ourselves why somebody gets
Yeah,
more attention than we do. It's like, oh, I don't deserve, I'm not good enough, all of that, right?
yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mustn't be because my parents have done this. Yeah. So yeah.
Beautiful. And so because of your story as a child, you've chosen a certain career path, and
Ah,
now are assisting others to come out of the shadow of whatever's going on in their lives, right?
yes, well, it's happened both before I found my fearless presence and after. So my background is that I'm a registered nurse and I've been nursing for 33 years. And someone who's always, supported her sister with a disability, it just was easy for me to go into the traditional nursing role where others came first. You were there, especially in the olden days of nursing, where you were the real handmaiden to the doctor, and you just were always long suffering, with aching legs, and you never put yourself first. Don't have a tea break, don't go to the toilet. So that is starting to shift in my everyday nursing, but I also have started to have a psychotherapy practice. So I've trained in what's called ISTDP. It's intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy. And I mean, I'd had counselling on and off over the years for a number of things and knew about a lot of things that were around because of the nursing I was in and, you know, the referral sort of system that we have set up. But ISTDP worked for me. It works so beautifully for me, and it sits so beautifully with the physical experience of emotions. And I'd spent already 30 years observing people's bodies and looking at what they were telling me when they couldn't. So it was just a perfect match of helping people to get in touch with their inner world in order to understand themselves, but also just, you know, really to overcome all the things that can, with your physical body, that can break down due to repressed emotions. So anyway, it was in that nice spot. So I still do both. I love them both, to tell you the truth. I love both aspects of my nursing career. Yeah.
I know, and I love what you were just saying about the embodied experience of emotions, which ties so beautifully into the title of the book. You know, it's embodying your essence for soul aligned success. And how do we, and success means so many different things for so many different, it means a different thing for every single person. But this embodiment piece of you coming from that story and having an experienced wisdom, like an experience that has transformed into wisdom from which you can now guide people. And, you know, you're sharing that in your chapter, where how that can translate into tools that you can share with the readers that can really empower them to come out of the shadows of whatever dominant personalities may have been in their lives. It could have been a narcissistic father, a narcissistic mother, you know, as in your case, disability, or a child that's super talented. Whatever it is, that blueprint is there for life. And you are an expert now, both through experience, but also through the training that you've done to assist and guide people through that. So I'm so excited to have you in this book and to share your wisdom with us. I think the last thing, we are currently still, we've got a couple of spaces left. So if you're listening to this and if you're feeling, yes, I do have a story to share, I have gone through a transformative experience in my life that I know is universal, like I have my unique experience of this, but it's a universal theme, just like within the case of Karen, then please get in touch. Let me know and I'll send you all of the details of how you too can share your story in our upcoming multi-author book, Fearless Presence. So anything else you want to say, Karen?
Nothing specifically for myself. I think if anyone is balking at writing their story, I would say that's a real opportunity to say, okay, look at me. Yeah. So to not be afraid to, and maybe tell yourself it's too boring, it's not exciting enough, or I'm not really the expert or whatever. So, you know, those sorts of things that can come up for us. And the other thing is time. You know, I actually have 3 jobs because I work for a university as well. So time is always coming up. And I thought, do I have the time to do this? But actually, when you set a goal and when there's a deadline, things just get done. And so you can fit more in. And I think that if telling your story, which now's the time, right? Now's the time with the Australian of the Year, that young woman, and there's, you know, the laws are coming down about being able to tell your story. So it's time to tell your story now. So I would just say, just feel the fear and do it anyway. Just sign up, because when you get the deadline, it changes everything. Yeah,
absolutely. I love that you're bringing up all of these reasons why people possibly may not do it. And it really is the time now. The time is now to rise. The time is now to be in our empowerment. And there is no external validation. We're talking about this before we jumped on here, that we now need to give ourselves the validation. You proclaim yourself the expert, right? Nobody else will do it for us anymore. It's like, if I believe and I have that in my being and the confidence, yes, I have a message to share, I have a contribution to make. There is that whisper that we hear inside of our head. It's like, you are made for so much more than this. If that's there, and if it takes courage to overcome the doubts that are holding you back, then this is the perfect book to seize that opportunity and to really step into who you truly are. So yes, thank you for bringing those points in, Karen. All right, we'll leave it there. Sending you all wishing you all a beautiful day, and we'll see you soon with another interview or sharing from another contributor. In the meantime, please get in touch if this is resonating, even if it's just a smidgen of a tiny whisper. Do get in touch with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.